We're doing this video for all my friends and family, and it's entitled Somewhere in Panama. And I'm doing it to show people that there is a different way of life, so to speak, and that is to go back to the land and have a small piece of property. This is less than an acre, and my goal is to be completely sustainable now in another 6 months. I've been here 8 months. When we first came here, all we had was this little tiny farmhouse that you see behind us. It's probably about 50 years old. It's 400 square feet. It has a metal roof and cement floors, and most people would not want to live in a house like this, but it's very affordable and it meets our basic needs. And so we moved into that with the idea that we would just improve and do certain outbuildings and structures. Now in general, and we'll see pictures of this in a minute, I have 2 large palm trees to provide us with coconuts, and I also have papaya, I have grapefruit growing, I have lots of plantains. We also have guavana trees, and guavana is not only a tasty fruit, but it has a lot of medicinal properties. We also have, I never counted them, probably about 15 orange trees. And when we did a harvest back a few months ago, we actually got 11,000 oranges off of that. We have a tangerine tree. It actually fell down a few weeks ago in the wind, but the root structure was still intact, so we went ahead and propped it up with some cariolas and put some dirt around it, made a planter out of it, and it looks like it's going to survive. So we have a lot of vegetation and fruits and vegetables just naturally growing on the property. And then we're in the process, of course, of planting more. And so we have some really good soil on part of the property, but we've had to import soil. And we have some dirt that comes from the border here, very light and fluffy. It's really a premium topsoil that comes from an area known for high quality topsoil. There's about 10 meters here, and then we have gone to some of the areas where there's really good dirt on the property. It kind of runs hot and cold. We have some fairly rocky dirt, and then we have some areas that are topsoil down about 2 or 3 feet. So we've had to move a lot of dirt around to meet our various needs for planting. Over here we have some aloe vera plants. Some of these plants are 8 or 9 years old. Once an aloe vera plant gets beyond 5 years, it has tremendous anti-cancer and other medicinal properties. The aloe vera is almost a perfect food. One of the things I'm concentrating here on is high nutrient plants that will help us sustain our health. And the aloe vera are the plants right here. I probably have about 20 plants. I have aloe vera planted in another area. I have a total of about, I would say 60 or 70 plants right now. We eat aloe vera every morning, and it has tremendous medicinal purposes. I would suggest you could go online and look up aloe vera. You'll find out that, like I said, it's basically a perfect food, which is one of our goals here, is to plant as many things as possible that are complete nutritionally. Out front here we have our guard service, and they really serve the function. Nobody comes on the property without us being alerted. Pretty much the whole property is fenced. It's a combination of barbed wire and chicken wire, and we have steel rebar for posts, which makes it very easy to do a post as opposed to trying to dig post holes. We have iron all the way around as far as trying to make the property secure, and so we're going to do a quick tour. It's only a 4-room house. Well, actually, I guess you could say it's 5 rooms with the bathroom. This is our very small living room. As I said earlier, the house is only 400 square feet. Basically, each room is about 10 by 10, which means it's 100 square feet. But this is adequate for Vicki and myself to do our scripture studies and our research. I'm very happy with our library. Our library consists mainly of books about religion and health and how to grow organic vegetables. So those are the three main topics. We have some very, very good books that are invaluable to us as far as our lifestyle here. We're going to go now into the office. Again, everything is very modest, just enough to meet our needs. We have a little bit more of a library here. We have, actually we have a couple of computers and a printer. And we don't do wireless. We can, but everything's wired direct because we're very health conscious. We do not want to use a wireless router, even though we have that ability. We don't want the radiation. So we're going to walk through now to just show you the bathroom, which is pretty much nothing. It's just enough to take a shower and clean up a little bit. We have a bedroom here. Again, very small, but just to meet our needs. The mosquito net is very important to us. So far, it's kept out 2 tarantulas, 2 bats, and we had a scorpion the other day in the kitchen. So, and of course, all the nuisance bugs. So it's this is very functional. It keeps the creatures away, and it's a real big help to us. Okay, the kitchen. Oops, since it was already on. The kitchen is just to meet our needs again. Just to prepare our food. We think that food storage is very important, so we vacuum pack a lot of food, and we strictly pretty much about 90% organic here. These are all organic teas and honeys and different things that we eat on a regular basis. One of the things about a small area that we have is we try to utilize every bit of the area. And so when we get done in another 6 months, there will not be any part of this property that won't be planted or being utilized for growing and eating and that sort of thing. Over here we have basil, and we have rosemary growing, we have oregano growing, we have mint growing. And then, like I said earlier, I have a real passion for flowers, and so a lot of these, I have flowers, the various flowering bushes, ferns, coleus, growing back here, which of course they're small now, but I hope to be able to harvest them on every Sabbath, so that we have flowers for Sabbath. That's very important for me. I feel like I'm doing that to enhance the services and show part of our Heavenly Father's creation, how beautiful it is, and surround ourselves with beauty. What you're looking at down here is an unfinished pond. I hope to go down about 6 or 7 feet, and it's going to either have tilapia or it's going to have trout. Now, the way it's going to work is we're going to have what they call a biomass filter, which means it's a bacterial filter that will filter the water and in a natural way with no chemicals. And then that water is going to be high nutrient water, and on occasion I'm going to pump out of this pond into the greenhouse raised beds, and they are going to then have high nutrient water that's already like fertilizing the various plants in there. So that is going to be a very important part of feeding and fertilizing the plants, as well as raising the fish for food. So when we're all done, we're going to have vegetables, we're going to have chickens, and we're going to have fish. And as I said earlier, it's my goal to be totally sustainable within another 6 months. A lot of people know what's coming, and of course there'll be food shortages, and if they institute a cashless society, then you won't be able to buy or sell anything, including food, unless you take the mark. And so I want to be in a position that I don't have to buy and sell, that we can sustain ourselves with high quality organic food, virtually for not a lot of money, and for the cost of our own sweat equity and labor. All right, we're going to go in a minute into a room that I call my fellowship room. This is a room that we built so we could have Sabbath services, because the house is so small, and it's servicing us quite well. One of the things that I hope Jim will catch on camera is that we covered it with shade cloth on the top so the rain doesn't beat down and make a loud noise when it rains, because when it rains real hard on a tin roof here, you can't even hardly hear yourself think. Plus it keeps the room cooler. And then there's shade cloth for all the walls. We have gravel floors. We have fans and lights in there and electrical outlets. So this room is really the coolest area on the property, and so it works out very, very well environmentally because it has shade cloth. We don't have, the bugs don't get in. We have tables and chairs. We have a couch in there for the afternoon nap, or for people, of course, to sit on. Corrugated metal roof and shade cloth, which is not very expensive at all. All right, so we're going to go from here, and I'll show you a planting area that we have. So let's walk outside again. This area we're going to be looking at now is a planter area. It's primarily sweet potatoes, but we have, as you'll see, a cherry tomato plant now that's about 5 feet high. It's already produced over 100 tomatoes. The interesting thing about this is that it was a volunteer. I didn't plant it, it just came up. I'll probably take some of the seeds and put them in the greenhouse once it's done. Down here we have ginger growing, and it's about ready to harvest because it's already popping out of the ground. Over in the corner we have garlic chives growing, and we have wonderful parsley that's coming up, a little bit of lettuce, and of course in the middle of all this we have a papaya tree growing. Over here in this area, we have more sweet potatoes growing. We have papaya trees, we have a plantain tree, and this is another area where we're stockpiling our better soil. And we also have bags of what they call abano, which is an organic compost that we mix into the dirt, as well as amending it with other composts as we have opportunity. In this area now is an area where we have moringa trees. I think I now have about a dozen trees. These trees are not more than about 2 or 3 months old, and you can see they're well leaved, and they grow about a foot every month, and they get to be 10-12 feet tall. Like I say, they're a perfect food. You can eat the leaves, you can eat the branches, you can eat the roots, you can make tea out of it. Behind the moringa trees, we have about 30 more aloe vera plants. Some of them are babies, and some of them are, once again, very mature. They're 5 years or more, and we continue to promulgate those. The way that they make new plants is that little shoots go out in the ground and start a new plant. We continually transplant the babies into more pots. I have found with aloe vera, because of the nature of the hot sun here, whenever you see aloe vera growing, maybe in a place like Arizona or the southwest United States, they're always out in the sun. I have tried to grow aloe vera in the sun here and they just die. So all our aloe vera that you see are all in the shade, and they seem to be very healthy and happy that way. All right, behind me now you see some more you see some more sweet potatoes. They grow very well here. They're another one of these foods that is high nutrient, and so I expect a very large crop. And behind that is my squash, as well as I have comfrey growing, which is a medicinal herb. And we'll walk over and I'll show you one of the squashes. One of the things that I'm doing here, and I've done in the past, is when you have a lot of vines that take up a lot of area, I create fencing, and I'm going to do that in the greenhouse. The greenhouse is going to have fencing going up the walls. It's just chicken wire. We're going to grow more squash, cucumber, watermelon, all of the climbing vines, so I can maximize the space inside the greenhouse. So I've done that before. It's very successful. It's a great way to utilize all of your space. So we're going to go over here now and I'll show you the other things that are growing here. We have echinacea, we have lemongrass, we have some cucumbers that we're going to run up the fence, and of course we have these the squash now that are really starting to produce. And so I'll show you one of the giant squashes. You can eat for several days off of one by mixing it into stir-fried vegetables or salad or soup or whatever you want. But it's a very productive and a way to really utilize the food that we have here and maximize the amount of food we're getting out of the space we have here. Okay, here's a squash. They get to be several pounds. This one's really ready to harvest. If you can stick your fingernail in like I just did and it weeps, it's soft, it's ready to harvest. And so, like I said, you can make soup out of it. You can cut it up and stir fry it with vegetables. It's just very versatile. We're growing cucumber here. These are the long varieties. They get about a foot long. And when they get a little bigger, we'll go ahead and make them so they start growing up the fence instead of spreading out on the ground. So we're going to do the same thing in the greenhouse with our climbing vines, and it'll be a very efficient way to do that. Behind me, this is an ongoing project. Well, really the whole farm is a work in progress, and we're probably about in the middle of everything we want to do as far as it being completed for our sustainability goal. But this is a greenhouse. It's built out of metal and carriolas. It is not approximately, it's exactly 20 feet wide and 33 feet long. As you can see, it's going to have a very high roof, and that's done to dissipate the heat, because otherwise in this climate, when it gets warm, we'll just fry our vegetables, and we don't want to fry our vegetables before we harvest them. So I'm going to have raised beds. The raised beds are going to be made out of bamboo, and I'm going to have 3 raised beds pretty much to cover this whole area, but make it very easy to harvest and to plant. And then, as I said earlier, we're going to run chicken wire up the walls and have our vines. And so we'll be able to utilize a lot of this greenhouse, and it'll produce a lot of food. We're going to have a lot of crops in there that are in high demand here. Turmeric, we're going to try to grow garlic, and we're going to do kale and dandelion greens. All of these are high nutrient, very healthy vegetables that we're going to specialize in growing. This is our chicken coop here, just made out of bamboo, some tarps, and a few carriolas. We have some small chicks here, which we raised from just very, maybe only a week old chicks. And then we're going to be bringing in some larger chickens here soon, and they're going to have this other area. The larger area here is going to be for mothers that are going to be nesting and laying eggs, and we're probably going to let the eggs hatch and create more baby chicks. We found out something in the hard way, because this area, I've raised chickens in other areas where it was more well-treed than this, and I never had problems with the hawks coming down, but we started out with 100 babies, and we're down to 11 chicks now because all the hawks in the area ate our chickens. So that was a hard lesson to learn. So what we're going to do now is, if you hatch your own chickens, and the mother will take care of them and protect them from the predator birds and hide them when necessary. So I've seen from the neighbors here, that's how they do it. So that'll be how we progress to multiply. Our goal is about probably 50 chickens, produce enough eggs every week to feed ourselves, maybe sell a few to the neighbors, and then of course have food for ourselves. So this is another separate project that goes to the total well-being of everything. The chickens, of course, will create fertilizer for us. The next area we're going to go to is going to be show you a composting area where we throw our edible garbage, let the chickens eat it, and then at the same time, of course, they're fertilizing that area, breaking down the soil. You constantly have to be amending and making new soil. It's just part of all this this closed ecosystem we have, where everything is sustainable and everything takes care of itself. And it's just a beautiful, wonderful process that is something that really everybody should appreciate. It's the way the Creator made it, so that people can just live on a small piece of property and everything basically takes care of itself. Okay, so this is a compost area where we throw our edible garbage here, let the chickens come and eat on it, and fertilize at the same time. At some point we mix it all up, we throw some good soil in there, and before you know it, it takes a while, maybe 6 months, but now you've got very good quality soil with all the nutrients in, and you just keep composting and recycling, and you have a continuous amount of building and producing more soil. Alright, so what we have here now is a new growing area where we put in really good soil. This is the top of a pineapple that we cut off, and you just put this in the ground, and after a while it starts growing and producing other pineapples. And so this is the start now of our, I guess, our pineapple patch. Alright, we're going to go walk through the cornfield. I'm going to plant more corn, which is going to be used for our own eating, as well as to feed the chickens. So I want to be able to, I don't want to get into commercial feed. I want to be able to let my chickens free range and supplement their food with the food I grow right here on the property. So we'll walk through the cornfield, which is also all of our orange trees. They're quite prolific. We pretty much have oranges year-round, and so once again we have a fresh source of citrus, as well as our great big grapefruit tree that keeps dropping grapefruits again year-round. When they hit the tin roof, you think that a cannon was going off. Behind me now you see some corn that's up about 4 or 5 feet. We planted that first probably about 4 months ago. It's starting to already have some ears of corn and silk out, and we're rotating it. We plant it in stages so that we'll have continuous corn. We're gonna fill in all these blank areas with corn. We're also going to plant a kind of a bean crop. It's called wandu. It's a very expensive delicacy here that sells for about $10 a pound. And so this is going to be, like I said, just basically a growing area. They've got more plantains here. I planted 3 lemon trees, and I planted a cinnamon tree. And so we continue to develop this area. So that's kind of about it. We've got every bit of space planned out and utilized, and we'll come back at another time and show you our progress. We've been here 8 months, and what you see we've done in 8 months now, the 3 outbuildings, as well as all the planting, and now the greenhouse that's in progress that should be done probably, today is Wednesday, it'll probably be done by Friday. So once the greenhouse gets growing, we'll take another video and show you what's going on there. Thanks for putting up with me. I'm a little bit long-winded at times, but we've really put our heart and soul into this and believe that this is really a better way of life, healthier, quiet, serene. You hear the birds, fresh air. We're quite happy here. So thanks for watching.